Hey guys, you want to make the greatest chainsaw ever designed and manufactured even better? I'm going to show you how in this video. Okay guys, of course I'm talking about the Stihl MS500i, the greatest chainsaw ever. And I know a lot of you are going to comment about that right now, but hey, you know, don't beat me up too hard. I just love this chainsaw. A big fan. Of course, there's lots of good chainsaws out there. But this video is not about this chainsaw. It is about an accessory for this chainsaw. And, you know, you don't hear about that very often. How can you make chainsaws even better? Well, I'm going to show you today the #1 accessory that people put on these saws is one of these. What are these? Well, of course, these are felling dogs or felling spikes or felling teeth, and they go right here on the chainsaw. And by the way, I'm Dave, and this is Timber Time Outdoors. Forgot to do that. And in this video, we're going to talk about 3 things, okay? We're going to talk, obviously, about this accessory. We're going to talk about its features and benefits. I'm going to show you some cutting before with the stock felling spikes or dogs. And I'm going to show you after when we put this on so you can see the difference and, you know, kind of reinforce some of those features and benefits. And then lastly, we're going to wrap things up with, you know, kind of my thoughts on it, where you can buy these, and we'll go from there. So full disclosure here, I was approached by Nathan from Ti-Dawgs. He asked me if I wanted to try out his product. By the way, these are made in the USA. They're made of titanium. We're going to talk more about the features and benefits, but he did approach me. He did send them to me for free, so I didn't pay for them. Just want to let you know that. Again, I'm going to give you my honest opinion at the end of this video. All right, benefit and feature #1 is kind of stating the obvious. You know, why would you ever replace these stock ones? Well, it's mainly to get a bigger bite. It's to put something that's stronger, more aggressive on the saw. You know, there's lots of these felling dogs on the market, but a lot of them are super big and super aggressive, and you know, I don't know, I've never put them on mainly for that reason, is I didn't really want these great big spikes and teeth sticking out. But what I like about these, at least at face value, is they're kind of a nice balance between, you know, kind of the wimpy ones that come with it. You know, these are, they kind of flop around, they're thin, they're about 100 thousandths thick. I'm not quite sure what they're made out of, but they're obviously a stamped steel. These here, you can tell they're not stamped. You know, they're cut out of titanium, probably with a water jet or some kind of laser, perhaps. They just have a really nice look to them. Got some laser etching on there, made in the USA. And so that's benefit #1, is they're just a heck of a lot stronger, and they're going to just grip that log a lot more. Okay, feature #2 that I like on this thing is, you know, I kind of mentioned that it's a nice balance on size, not too big, not too small. It's got 6 teeth versus 4, and I just kind of want to point out this curvature here, right? So what I like about that is, you know, when you put it on the log, it kind of rolls. It rolls with the log. In other words, it kind of follows that motion as you're trying to gain leverage with the saw and push it through the log. It just continues to roll along that log and bites it nice and really reaches into the wood. And then lastly, you know, I kind of mentioned this. They look super nice, for one thing. You know, the titanium and the laser etching, but they are very, very sharp. And obviously they're not going to get dull. These here, I can already see they're bent. You know, and I'm not super aggressive with my cutting, but I can see the teeth here, you know, are kind of flared out on the ends, and they're bent a little bit. So that is not going to happen with a product like this. Again, made of titanium, and I think they're, you know, 0.125 thick, so 1/8 of an inch thick. So with that, I think we'll do a quick assembly here, and then we'll do kind of a before and after. So, you know, we'll show cutting with the standard stuff, and then we'll put the new ones on and show you, you know, how they grab onto the log, and everybody loves the little chainsaw action. So let's get after it. Well, as you can see, these work, but they always feel like they're going to slip, and in that scenario, it's a big round log. They don't slip very easy, but they did just a hair on that cut. But I'll show you some scenarios on, some odd shaped logs here next that they don't reach out far enough. They don't grip very well. So you can see in this is kind of a weird one, but you can see where you have some different shapes on the log where a bigger tooth is going to make all the difference. So hopefully that kind of demonstrated, the stock one just doesn't work quite as well. And so let's change it out, and we'll put on the new Ti-Dawgs, and we'll cut some similar scenarios so you can see the difference. All right, they didn't come with any instructions. There could be some instructions on the Ti-Dawgs website. You'll have to check that out. I'm just gonna wing it here. It looks to me like we need a 5/16 wrench. We gotta take the blade off and the chain, because there's one. We'll do a little time lapse here and get these Ti-Dawgs on there. Super excited to try this. All right, I've got the saw all together. So I got the dog that goes on the saw next to the muffler there on the other side of the chain. And then on the cover, I wanted to show you the chain catcher. So it comes with a couple of parts that are a little small, so you gotta be careful you don't lose them. One is a little like a C-clip or a retaining clip, and that goes down inside so that when you're cleaning your chain, taking this off, your chain catcher is retained, so a little retaining clip. There's also a tiny little bushing. You're never gonna be able to see that, but there's a bushing in there, and I think on some dogs, these holes are a little bit different size, and so it's like a spacer. I'll show you on the instructions here. You can toss that. If it doesn't, if it's not needed, you just throw it away. In this case, the Ti-Dawgs are the same size as the diameter of the little spindle there. So I didn't need that washer, but you do need the retaining clip. Otherwise, this thing will be falling off every time. So I've got the dogs on, I've got the chain catcher on. Let's get it assembled and get this bad boy on some logs and put these teeth out. Those are sharp. Let's get it on a log, get it tested here. So, just a quick comment. I noticed right away that this arc right here and these teeth, they do kind of follow the log, and that sharpness just really bites in when the saw kind of pulls it in. It never jumps around, it sticks right in. So one more cut and then we'll wrap up here. Just a quick final thought on that last cut there. So, you know, you got kind of that dip in the log, sort of a heart-shaped log. And sorry about the runny nose, it's cold out here. You know, there was a spot where it did slip, but it certainly, if you go back and compare to the stock one to this one, it definitely is an improvement. You know, you don't run into logs like that all the time. And so in general, it feels like, you know, those sharpness and having more teeth, and then that radius there certainly made a difference. But let's go back to the table here and we'll put some final thoughts together. All right, guys, let's wrap things up here. Some thoughts here. I do want to say one thing about my experience level and expertise on this particular accessory for chainsaws. It's not at the expert level. And what I mean by that is, you know, I've used a lot of chainsaws, but I've only used the stock Ti-Dawgs that come on there. So I haven't used a lot of different kinds. The only thing I can say in this video is on the MS500i stock versus the Ti-Dawgs. And so just keep that into context. That's my comparison. There is no comparison actually, right? I mean, these work a lot better. It's that simple. You know, you heard me say it already. Having 6 teeth, very sharp. They dig into the log really nicely, and they kind of roll with the log, which I really like. You get a lot more leverage than you do with the stock ones. And so, you know, apples to oranges here kind of, but definitely an accessory that makes this saw better. That's a no-brainer. So, does it work better than other ones on the marketplace? I can't say. One thing that I mentioned earlier that I'll mention again is I like how these are not like great big swords sticking out, you know. So some of them are really, really long and pronounced. You actually lose some bar length on those. So I think this, you know, does a nice balance. They're very well made. Aesthetically, they look really cool. I give it that for sure. So, so how do you buy these? If you're interested in that, let's talk about that a little bit. I'm going to just use my notes so I don't screw this up. So you can go to his website, Nathan's website. It's Ti-Dawgs.com, so Ti-Dawgs.com, or he's got a YouTube channel at Ti-Dawgs, and you can watch some of his videos there. So that's how you get it. I don't know pricing, to be honest. You'll have to contact him on that. Also, you know, you want to contact him on any, you know, nitty-gritty details, right? So he kind of walked me through this, made sure about the chain catcher and that kind of thing, but you know, he makes these for lots of saws. So if you have a Husqvarna, I think the 462 he makes it for. I asked him about the 400 because I might buy the 400. He doesn't have that yet, but he may produce that. So anyway, kind of wrap things up here. He makes lots of them. Contact him for the details on assembly and so forth. But all in all, I think it's a great product. Definitely improved my saw, and I can't wait to continue to use it. I'm going to do that right after this video. So remember, guys, like, subscribe, send it to your friends, and keep it in the timber. Bye-bye.